Yo, what's up? My name's Clarence,
And I'm DJ Nuna,
and you're listening to Up in the Air.
a podcast on our thoughts, moods, and experiences on the personal, political, and cultural world around us. Come float with us. For this week's episode, we have a day one supporter of the show and a brother from another, Stephen Tran, joining us to talk all things health, post-grad life, chefing up home-cooked meals, and how his cultural upbringing has led him to where he is now. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Up in the Air. My name is Jubilee, or DJ Nuna, and I'm here with my co-host, Clarence.
What up? We back with another episode, and we got a very special guest this week, even Tran. How's it going, bro?
What up? Good to be back.
Welcome
How's everyone
back.
doing?
I think it's been quite a while since you were last on our show.
Yep. Yeah, last time I was pretty nervous. I'm still nervous now, honestly.
I feel like the nerves don't really go away unless, like, I don't know. It's always like the setting, like when you're doing it over Zoom or if you're doing it in front of a mic, you just get nervous.
Yeah.
Well, the good thing about our podcast is that we can edit out anything. So if you fuck up, we can just edit it out. Where on the radio show, if it's said, then everyone heard you. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You right.
But I mean, last time Steven was on, we talked about toxic masculinity, which I feel like is a really complex topic, and I would be nervous to speak on it. So today, we're speaking on things that are not as, it's still complex, but we thought we would talk about kind of growing up with immigrant parents, that experience, and then also tying it back to just the current state of the world. Steven is a public health major, so we wanted to hear just from his perspective. He just graduated, so congrats.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
What's that post-grad life like?
Oh my, it was like a lot of stress off my shoulders, but then at the same time, like we're in a pandemic. I was trying to look for a job. Like all the stress came back to me like a few weeks later.
It's like a different kind of stress then, huh? It's just like adult.
Yeah, yeah. Like I was super excited to graduate, like just not have to do homework and stuff like that. But then I was like, "Fuck, how am I gonna pay the bills?" Like I'm not trying to live with my parents forever. Damn.
Yeah, bro. I feel like we're in a lucky spot where like you can kind of just kick it with your parents and they'd be okay with it for however long. But
yeah,
like, I know that a lot of like white people like like have their kids move out, and like they need to do their own thing. Like you gotta pay your own shit, It's like I'm just happy to have my parents pay for my shit.
For real.
Just a blessing.
I mean, like, didn't your brother? He recently moved out, like, in the last year.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's super normal in Asian households to kind of stick around. Like, my parents are like, yeah, you're welcome to stay. I mean, even now I'm staying with my family, which has been, there's ups and downs with that. But I was going to ask, just besides that, how's quarantine been for you?
It's been all right. I've been trying to stay busy a little bit. I built a PC. I feel like a lot of people have been doing that lately, and been gaming pretty hard.
You're a fucking nerd.
See, everyone who doesn't have a PC tells me this, and I'm just like, you guys gotta chill out. All right, PCs are dope as fuck. For real, bro. But so I've been trying to learn how to cook too. It's been going all right. And other than that, job searching, finally landed like a little part-time thing. So a little less stressed out right now, for sure. But yeah, I've been stuck in the house, which is kind of like good and bad. I feel like I'm low-key an introvert.
Mm-hmm.
And so that part of it's not too bad, but at the same time, I do miss, just going out here and there, just relaxing outside of the home.
Yeah, it's like the simple things, bro. Like, we can't even just go out for a bite or anything, really.
I know.
I think it's funny because I finally figured out like the best way to hang out with friends, social distance. Like I've been having so many picnics and shit like that, and then the air quality was just like,
yeah, fuck
it.
that.
Yeah, they're like, shut the fuck up.
Like they want you to stay at home and then you can go outside, do your things, but then like now we can't be outside, and so it's like.
Right. Like earlier in the week, I got off work and I had been at my desk the whole day, and then I was like, yeah, Mom, I'm just gonna go on a walk. And she's like, don't go outside. And I didn't realize that the smoke was so bad just because I always close my windows in my room. But yeah, anyways, it's good to hear. Congrats on the job. That's exciting to hear.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
What games have you been playing?
I've been playing a game called Valorant, Call of Duty. I played a little bit of Fall Guys, and I played Among Us one day, but I went in like not knowing anything.
Like being honest with yourself, like how good would you say you are on a scale of?
Not very good, not very good. But the reason is though, I feel like I dabbled in gaming a little later in my life compared to other people.
Okay.
But then I also used to play on a controller, and then I just completely switched to keyboard and mouse. The whole, all the mechanics are just way different. I cut myself a little slack.
Steven has a light up keyboard, and that's how you know he's real.
Ooh.
Oh my god, I knew you were gonna say something about that.
There's hella tweets that are like, oh, if he has a light up keyboard, then just leave or something like that.
Yeah, I saw a tweet.
You're the one tweeting that, Jubilee.
Oh, oops.
Yeah, I saw a tweet about like contraception, and they're like, yeah, you don't need contraception. You already have like 2 monitors set up and a light up keyboard.
That's hella funny. But yeah, a lot of my friends have been gaming, and 2 of my friends started streaming, which has been really cool.
Okay.
Yesterday on my friend's stream, she had like a 12-hour stream because she hit 500 followers, and we played. I know, right? Like she's actually popping off. Shout out to Lean's Beans. Join the Bean Squad, everyone. But we played Among Us, and that shit is really fun, but I suck at it because I can't. It's basically like Mafia. Clarence, have you played it? Okay, it's basically like Mafia, but on a little like phone game. But I played with like Lena and then some other of her viewers, and it's kind of wild because all the viewers come from different backgrounds. Like some of them are like really intense streamers, others are like 12 years old. Like there's like a wide range of people in the gaming community. Anywho, how has your cooking been?
Cooking's been fun. A lot of cleaning up. That's probably like the worst part of it. But at the same time, it's like a little therapeutic too. Just like cleaning dishes. I don't know. I used to think it was hella gross, like touching like the leftover food and stuff. But it's just like satisfying watching dishes get clean. If that makes sense.
Did you start out like wanting to cook like whatever you saw on YouTube or like saw on Instagram and stuff like that, or was it more like, you know, seeing what your mom was making at home and stuff, like you were wanting to learn that?
Well, first it started off with like a bunch of like TikToks and Instagram videos and stuff like that, you know, like Newt and that other guy that he's always like, yes, like at the end of his videos.
Yeah,
started with those guys, and I was like, damn, cooking low-key looks hella easy, especially after I think it was like the Popeyes chicken sandwich. I was like, I could definitely do this at home. And then I just kept, you know, like getting suggested more videos like that, and I just kept watching, and then everything just looked hella easy. And then I would go out to a restaurant, I'm like, bro, I could definitely make this. And then started and I was like, damn, I should really just try. So then I started off with like some fish sauce wings, and yeah, after that I was just trying to cook everything that I, you know, enjoy, that I thought was kind of easy.
So what have been your favorites of your own cooking?
My favorites? Okay, definitely my fish sauce wings.
I love how like, you have like, you're like, it's my fish sauce wings, like my take on it. It's like, this is the best one.
For sure. Like, okay, everyone hypes up Burnett's, and like, you know, I love Burnett's, like the vibe and like all that, right? But telling you, I feel like my wings are better low key, you know. So
low key.
I mean, Clarence, like you've tried it before. How would you rate it?
Yeah, Clarence.
Out of 10.
How would you rate it? Huh?
Out of 10, I would
like,
say.
Give us a full review.
Yeah.
I mean, I think So I haven't had Burnett's wings before, actually. So I can't compare it to that, but I really enjoyed them. I feel like...
So they're better.
Yeah, they're way better than the wings I never had, bro. So, no, I think also it's funny because the last time you made them for me and some other people, you said that, or they said that it was a little salty, but like I like salty food, so I thought it was fine. But yeah,
they were low-key hella salty though.
I mean, I was a little thirsty after, but it's true. Some. Yeah, that's nice though. I feel like what's your next like venture, your next meal that you're gonna cook?
My next meal? Damn, I don't know. I've been kind of having some cooking block. I don't know what you call it, really, culinary block. But there's like this one dish I just saw recently. It's like a dry pho dish kind of, but like the noodles are fried crispy, and then they're like laid flat kind of and cut like a pizza sort of, right? And then the sauce is like a little thicker, but it has like the pho flavor. Does that make sense?
That sounds good.
Bro, that sounds wild.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine what it like looks like, really.
Yeah, it's hard, but I'll link you guys.
You might as well just make it and then just deliver it, bro.
Deliver it? I don't know about that.
Oh, come on.
No, I saw this tweet that was like, if you don't like cilantro and onions, then like, what do you use? Or like, something just like, what's your taste then? And like, I literally had dinner one time with this dude, and we got pho, and he ordered the pho without onions and cilantro, so it was just broth and beef and the noodles, and I was just like, that's so weird. Like, it was so brown. Like, yeah.
So picky.
I mean, I will say.
Do you do that, Clarence?
No, I don't do that.
Clarence.
When I was young, I just didn't like vegetables, so I was like, I don't want to smell cilantro on my shit.
I mean, low-key cilantro does taste like soap to me, but I still eat it. But I don't like. I was eating it the other day, and I was like, oh, it actually does kind of taste like soap, but I still eat it. It still tastes good.
I'm cool with cilantro. My cousin used to do that too, but he was hella picky, and he would like his order made no sense. It was just noodles and soup when we went to the pho restaurant. Mm-hmm. No beef, so it was just
not even beef. Damn.
Yeah, it was pretty sad.
I really like tendon, like the.
Yeah.
That's my favorite kind of meat. And
my parents always say like I gotta eat more tendon because like it'll make me healthier and stuff. And then they're like, you wouldn't have torn your eat more tendon. And I'm like,
damn, that's the confusion. Wait, what are your thoughts on tripe? Have you tried that?
I fuck with that. So
I
good.
don't like that as much. Sorry. Wait, it has an interesting texture, but
yeah,
it doesn't taste like anything to me.
Yeah,
it's just like it's like ribbed, kind of.
Yeah. Or it just tastes like whatever you make it with. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's true. But yeah, it's really good to hear about your cooking. We'll leave his contact down below. Check out his Instagram for his next moves. But yeah, you kind of mentioned that you're an introvert and things like that. How has it been, like navigating your mental health during the quarantine as an introvert?
As an introvert, like, let's see, I don't know, you know, some days I definitely feel a little down, a little lonely, you know, like phone's a little dry. So like during those days I kind of like just hit up all the group chats I have like a little more than normal. But other than that, like I usually don't like respond or like open those too often. Not because like I'm fucked up or anything, I just don't, you know. But yeah, I mean, it's a little tough. Like sometimes being an introvert is nice, but at the same time, you're kind of in your own head a lot. But yeah, you know, I think the toughest part was definitely like job search and like trying to get along with my parents all the time, which, you know, it's not really possible. You're going to have your ups and downs with them.
Right.
Yeah, I know that like your parents work, you know, so I think like, do you think that you enjoy the space sometimes, like throughout the day, or is that like tougher when they're not home?
No, it's pretty nice when they're not home, honestly. I'm not gonna lie, like, because when they weren't working and everyone was like laid off pretty much, um, it was getting tough because like they were stressed out about it, and then like I had to help them with like unemployment stuff,
Right.
like stuff that like both of us, like both sides, were experiencing for the first time and not sure how to handle it. So we were just like kind of coming at each other's necks, and we're just like, "Yo, you gotta give me some space," and then like you gotta give me some space. It was a lot. So it's definitely nicer that they're back in their groove, you know, because I think they also just like to work. They don't like being idle. So
Yeah, that's the thing with like also like immigrant parents too. I feel like the concept of just doing nothing is so, like taboo almost. Like you gotta make yourself, worthwhile, like do work or just do like something that's productive. But that's like my parents too, I think, in a way. Well, my dad likes to watch TV and like do his own thing, like, snack on some shit, but yeah, I feel it. What about your parents, Jubilee?
Yeah, both of my parents are working and they've been lucky to be working remotely. And so actually, like me, I have I have two siblings, so I'm the oldest of three. And so my parents and then my sister and I, we're all working remotely, so we're all at the house like 24/7. So honestly, it's rough, even though thankfully I have my own room, but I don't know, we do argue a lot. I think when you just interact with them every single day, it gets kind of overwhelming. And then for this upcoming school year, I'll be, staying home. So looking forward to that. But yeah, it's been interesting kind of navigating alone time. Um, I don't know. I'm still figuring it out. But yeah, wait, remind us, Stephen, like what do your parents do for work?
they own a nail salon together.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah.
Did you ever help out in the nail salon?
Yeah, I used to like take people's cash and like card payments and stuff like that, and then like answer the phone if they ever got like super busy.
Mm-hmm.
I used
My
to
mom.
kick with Steven all the time at the nail shop. We just kick into that.
Did you ever learn how to like do nails? That'd be
I
kind of cool.
low-key, I try to learn. My mom made me learn how to paint nails when I was younger, but like it was kind of weird. I don't know. You have to like hold one pinky out, like the hand that you're holding the other person's hand, and then like the brush hand, you put the pinky on this pinky, and like it was hella weird. I was like, I couldn't figure it out. It just made no sense.
You're just stabilizing, bro. That's fire. That's an art, bro.
But I can put like grass on your fingernails. That's it. I don't know if anyone.
That's actually pretty cool.
Wow.
It's like the easiest thing.
I think like nail art or just nails in general is for real an art form. Like earlier in quarantine, I bought this polygel nail kit, and it's kind of like acrylics, but that shit took me like 2 hours to do, like shaping it, applying the gel. So I have a lot of admiration for nail salon techs and things like that. But yeah, I mean, Clarence, you just got back from San Francisco. How was that?
It was chill. Like they only have outdoor dining, which is good.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's keeping the workers safe. And I mean, I didn't really do too much because when the wildfires rolled in, it was like maybe like 2 days or 3 days into my trip. But the first few days, my brother and I just went to a lot of beaches and like hung out like on our own little spot, which is nice. And then we just ordered a lot of takeout, which is like terrible. I had some wings, Steven, from this restaurant, and I will say it was.
Oh shit!
Hey, don't say it. Don't say it. No, don't say it.
It was way better. I'm just kidding. No, it was really good though. It was different. It's different. It's different. No, it was super slap though, and I feel like one day when COVID's over and all that, we should go try it, and then you can make it better.
I guess.
I mean, Steven, would you ever like try to open your own restaurant? Is that like something you are planning in the future, possibly?
I can see myself like doing that on the side, maybe like a food truck or something. I kind of want to own a coffee shop more than a restaurant though.
Ooh, what kind?
Yeah.
Like a Vietnamese coffee shop?
Yeah, I was kind of inspired by Coffeeholic. I'm not trying to bite off of them necessarily, but like just that local coffee shop that has like good vibes and all that.
Yeah, I'm surprised that they like. Well, not surprised because their stuff is good, but like it's crazy how they were able to kind of pull through like opening during this year.
Yeah,
super slaps.
I mean, my sister and I were just talking about how, I mean, when you open a business, you really do have to think about like what's currently in the market to do well. Because we went to Sip House, which is also like another Vietnamese coffee. I mean, it's Vietnamese coffee, but there's also like some boba drinks and then some regular coffee stuff. But they opened during COVID too, and they're doing really well. So I mean, I kind of know the owner, or I don't know her, but I have mutuals with her, and it's kind of like wild to think like she had to do all the construction on by herself, like the design, the interior design, and things like that. So it definitely takes a lot of work to open your business. But do you know what you would call your coffee shop? Like if you had to name it, like what would you name it like right now?
Yeah, I
the
don't
name
know.
is a lot, I feel like.
Yeah, that is a lot.
Because it's like you gotta name it something that you could be like, hey, you're trying to go to, and then like it'd be, hey, you know what I mean? shhhefsteve.
Espresso. You want to go to Espresso Steve? That has a nice ring to it.
I feel like that could be your nickname too. Espresso Steve.
Yeah, maybe that'll be my coffee house Instagram first, and we'll see where that takes me.
Another Instagram page. Fire.
Yeah.
But yeah, you kind of talked a bit about living with your parents and how, you know, there's ups and downs with that. And since you're a public health major, I'm sure you've learned a lot about what's happening in the world right now with BLM, climate change, crisis, pandemic, and things like that. How has it been kind of communicating with your parents, like what's happening in the world?
It's been, you know, I feel like there's days where I feel like I'm having a breakthrough, but then there's days where like it feels like whatever I said the day before just is out the window. You know, like they feel like the Black Lives Matter protests in the beginning were like a little getting out of hand and stuff like that, and I tried to explain like, you know, like how else do you protest, right? Like protest isn't supposed to be right because like the system in place is what people thought is right for so long, and that took a long time to get through their head, and I had to just like list off like hella examples of like when protest was necessary and like why it's necessary, and like they'll understand if I give them examples, but then at the same time it just like destruction of property and stuff like that just makes them feel uneasy still.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like we talked about it in the last episode with Eden, but like my grandparents were also small business owners. They had like a deli, and then even I like had a really like kind of intense conversation with my dad about the curfew that was in place to prevent looting. But yeah, it's definitely difficult to navigate like the looting versus the protests and like the movement itself. But I don't know, Clarence, have you had similar conversations like that?
Yeah, I mean, we usually all sit down together for dinner, you know, so that's like, I guess the only time that we really have those type of conversations. And, you know, like my mom's like, sometimes she doesn't want to talk about anything really, you know, because she just cooked a full meal and she's just like, oh, this is like eat, you know, like not talk about anything stressful. So I think it was a little bit harder to get everyone to like kind of be on the same page about what's happening, but it's good to know that like my dad's pretty up to date on, you know, the current news, and like he watches like a lot of different platforms, like not only CNN, like he also reads a lot of articles too, so he's pretty up to date on things. But like I think my mom's a little bit more reliant on like WeChat or whatever, and so she'd be like getting news from other like her friends, and like they'd be circulating shit that sometimes it's just like insanely like it's like straight up propaganda or like like fake news, and I'm like, bro, how can you believe that? You know what I mean? So I think it's a little tough because like sometimes it's like, oh, would they rather trust me or would they trust like their friends and whatnot? But I think luckily like we're all on the same page at this point. But I don't know, I feel like this year it's just like hella shit just keeps happening, so we'll see what happens.
It for real doesn't end. I can't believe, like when I think about the curfew, it doesn't even feel like it was the same year. And also just thinking like that there was a curfew in place at 5 p.m. That is just so, it feels so unreal, but that happened not too long ago. But yeah, I agree with you. I feel like the general agreement on the movement is there. Like there is, my parents do believe in the mission of BLM, but there's a lot of like nuances within that definitely takes a lot more conversation to kind of convince them. Like my sister and I had, the typical like, are all cops bastards conversation with my dad, because he was like, I don't agree with that. And then honestly, like whenever my sister and I get into arguments with my dad, like we always end up really emotional and like we always end up like crying, because my dad is first gen, but he moved here when he was 6, so he is fluent in English, pretty Americanized. He moved to SF, and so he's also a pastor, so intersecting like his Christian identity with that. So yeah, it's interesting. I feel like my sister and I are pretty liberal, progressive, and then my dad is still leaning towards like the progressive side, but still traditional in some ways too.
Yeah, I feel like also though it's like I don't feel like I necessarily have to convince them of anything. Like, I just need them to see my side. You know what I mean? Like they can have their own views, and they can like if they think that at the end of the day, if they think protest is really like that's not working, then like so be it. Like I can't. I can tell you all I can say, but if it's not gonna change your mind, like I just need you to understand how I feel and like what other people are feeling too.
I definitely think I struggle with letting go and not, being okay with not convincing people. But like, Stephen, are you kind of more on the side of Clarence where it's like you can agree to disagree? Or, because I'm kind of like, why the fuck don't you agree with me? But I'm trying to let go of that mentality because it's like I'm putting too much energy in those conversations. So
yeah, I think for me it just depends on who it's with. Like with my parents or like even my really close friends, I feel like it's harder for me to let that stuff go. But like if it's like an acquaintance, I'm not gonna try to argue with them that hard, because I feel like it won't be productive if they're already set on their beliefs and I'm set on mine. Then in that case, I would lean more towards Clarence's side. But like for my parents, I want them to improve as people. So that's why I'm a lot more stubborn when it comes to them. But because of that too, I think I am like a lot more hot-headed. And I think like in general, that's why conversations like this between like opposing groups don't really work out, is because like everyone's so hot-headed. But at the same time, I can't get myself to not be hot-headed with my parents. Yeah, so it's kind of tough.
For real. I agree with that, because I think there's a lot of, harm if you're just in an echo chamber where like everyone's always agreeing with you. But it is, I think when I do end up having conversations with people that disagree with me, it does prepare me more to kind of be more eloquent on like what I'm talking about and really articulate like why I feel the way I feel. But yeah, I don't know. I think like my brother is a senior in high school, and my sister and I feel very like passionate about what's happening right now. But then we did kind of realize that he seems pretty out of the loop. Like, oh, like why does it really matter to me and things like that. So it's interesting because it does really start with like your family and how you can communicate with them, because they can either be like easy to talk to in some ways, but also like the most difficult people to talk to as well. But how has it been, like you guys are in the same friend group, like with your guys? Guys, how is that, like how have the conversations been in your friend group?
They're okay.
Just kidding.
They're okay. Yeah. I think they don't happen that often, you know. I think among us, they like feel like we try to avoid it kind of, but at the same time, we do talk about certain issues here and there, like for example, I think there was like a recent video evidence of police brutality against a dude who was riding in an Uber, and then they pulled over the Uber, but then they like detained the passenger who was black, and like they were just like beating the shit out of him pretty much. And I like shared that with our friend group, and you know, I think we were all on the same page about that. And yeah, I think for the most part, like I think a lot of people did a lot of learning throughout this whole process this year, and so I definitely see improvement among our friend group.
Yeah, and it's like also just a lot of different levels of like, you know, people feeling comfortable to talk about it. Like you might agree, but just like, would you say something to someone else about it, you know? So I think like, you know, within their own sort of beliefs, you know, yeah, we're on the same page, but sometimes like when it comes to using your platform or like other things like that, like still learning how to do that and how to like make sure you're not posting the wrong things, you know, and kind of just like not being afraid to share your opinion and receiving possible backlash from your friends or your followers. Because like I remember Tony was telling me how like he reposted some stuff on Instagram, and then like a lot of people that he met in high school as a freshman at Eastside like unfollowed him, you know. So you can kind of see like just how polarizing a lot of issues are, which is, you know, pretty hard to believe because some of this stuff is like your human rights, but unfortunately it's like that. So yeah.
Yeah, I think social media is really interesting, and we talked a bit about it with Ethan last time because honestly, like everyone is using Instagram differently now. And I talked to Clarence about this, but there was this one post and this girl posted it, and it said like the hashtag like make Instagram casual again. And I was like, okay, I don't know if that's supposed to like reference Make America Great Again, but also like, you know, Instagram is kind of a more polarized environment, and a lot of people are using it to talk about social issues. And I mean, I stood up on it. I was like, hey, what did you like really think about that hashtag? Because I'm not trying to attack. I feel like when I try to open conversations, I'm never like, what the fuck, that's kind of problematic or that's racist. Usually if I just say like, what were your thoughts on that, then they kind of think about it and they're like, oh, like I didn't even have to say anything, and they're like, oh wait, I can actually see how that can be harmful, and then they took it down. But I don't know, it's interesting, the conversations I've been having on Instagram, most of them have like felt pretty productive and things like that. And I am encouraged that I think most of my friends have been on the same page, which is good. Let me ask y'all something. Have you had to unfollow someone because of their values or their views? Because I've seen those videos of like, you can see who likes Trump on your Facebook. Like my friend did that, and she unfollowed all the people or unfriended all the people that like Trump. Well, it's kind of just like, why are you liking Trump's Facebook page? But have you done that before? And what are your thoughts on doing so?
I mean, I think we're all grown, right? No issues there. And especially if they're not like close to you, or like if it's not even worth your time to talk to them about it, then you might as well, right? You know?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I've unfollowed anyone because of their political views, but I have like unfollowed people because I'm like, what did I say hi to you in person? nah, and then I just unfollow you. You know what I mean? Like I'm trying to like purge my social media so it's like actually people that I know and would like, or I'm fans of your work or something, you know. But I don't know. I feel like I'm kind of on the fence about that, because if you apply that logic to like other topics, you know, I'm trying to think of a topic though, but I don't know if that's fair, right? Like just because someone has a different opinion than you, like you don't want them in your life, you know, like that could be a parent or like a sibling or your, you know, just your friend. And like that kind of just eliminates the opportunity for like discussion, right? So with that being said, I feel like also with, you know, like Trump though, that's a different story, because like in a way, if you support that person, you're endorsing everything that, or most of the things that they've done. So that's a very tough situation to be put in. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that like off the top of my head, I can't think of anyone that I've unfollowed. Because yeah, once again, it's not like most of the people in my network, I have to convince them to believe in BLM, but it's more of like the nuances within that we have disagreements. But I think like one thing that comes to mind that I have unfollowed people on is like if they and we've talked about this on a few past episodes about like Twitter being a platform for like a lot of people to share their stories of sexual assault and abuse. And I think that's something that I'm pretty explicitly like, okay, if you are accused of that, like I'm just gonna unfollow you, or if you're a sympathizer, then I'm also gonna unfollow you. But I agree, Clarence, I feel like with friends, I don't think I would ever unfollow someone, because I think that it's like worth to kind of engage in the conversation, because I do think you need to learn from it. You can't just live in an echo chamber and things like that.
Yeah, and like that's the type of stuff that like make you more equipped to like, or better understand what you're trying, or what your beliefs are, right? Like if you have a discussion about police brutality and then like you go into depth about it and they like hit you with a question, you're like, oh shit, I don't know how to answer that. And then you look it up and then now you can answer it. It's like makes you better at kind of being an expert of whatever you believe in. So
Bruh, I remember like I almost unfollowed Jordan. No, I'm just kidding. But I was like, are you not gonna fucking register to vote? So, but we finally got him. So he's
nice,
registered.
good work.
Yeah, I feel like that was funny because I remember us talking about like, bro, how can you not be like registered to vote? Like between me and you, Jubilee, and then just being surprised at like the amount of people that actually aren't registered to vote. And like I understand the whole like you don't know enough, so you don't want to like say the wrong thing or vote for the wrong person, but you know, it's not that hard nowadays to do the research. It is just a quick Google search if you're kind of trying to decide between two people or something, right?
Yeah.
Steven, do you think that your education as a public health major really like shapes your perspectives on things that are happening right now?
Yeah, for sure. I think like, you know, I was not the best in class, right? And like I was never like, I don't think I can actually hold a public health job, but like some of the pillars that like uphold public health are like social justice and all that. And I think that's like always the biggest takeaway I get when I take these classes is that like people in marginalized communities are always the ones that are affected the most and they can help it the least. So yeah, I think that's what I take away from it the most, and definitely shapes my perspective on BLM and like why it's important, and how climate change is like fucking up everybody except for like, you know, the rich people. Yeah, you know, fuck capitalism. That's like I feel like that's the root of all this shit, you know?
Right. I've been having like a lot of my friends and I have been talking about like ethical consumption, because or there's that saying like there is no ethical consumption under capitalism, because I was just like talking to my friends like, where do we even shop anymore, because a lot of the places that we would shop were not ethical. And even I was just reflecting on like streetwear in itself and how, you know, it is like a capitalist industry is, or everything is kind of a capitalist industry and agenda. So I don't know. It's kind of difficult to navigate for sure.
Yeah, I'm thinking about like when I wanted to buy a shirt and like a cheap shirt, but like a good quality one. I was like, fuck, dude, like Uniqlo is just right there, you know. And like,
yeah.
Drive to this like fast fashion shit, but I was just like, so much easier. And it's, you know, it's like we live in this society where it's just like everything, the easier it gets, the cheaper it is, and it's just like, you know, like within my price range, it's right there. So I feel like you have to have a certain level of privilege too to be able to like say no to that stuff. And so it's like really tough, but I'm trying to like do it, you know, like looking at local brands or like ones that you can actually see how they're being, you know, more cautious about their production and whatnot. But,
hey, you guys should do like a clothing swap. Yeah, like let's see, I have a friend who has a sister at Garfield, and they were hosting like it wasn't really a fundraiser because they don't really make money from it, but like pretty much they just like swapped clothes with each other, and it was to battle like fast fashion and all that. So I thought that was kind of cool.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
I do have I gave Jubilee a lot of shirts.
Yeah, okay.
Dude.
We had this conversation the other day where I was like, hey, can you give me some more like old shirts if you have any? And I was like, yeah, we can like exchange. And he's like, well, what would you give me? Like, nothing you have would fit me. So, but I told Clarence like I could tie-dye your shirts. I could do
That'd be dope.
each tie-dye thing.
I have like shirts ready for you, Jubilee.
Wait, dead ass?
Yeah, I have this Garfield 100 shirt, if you fuck with that.
No, actually, low-key, some of my favorite shirts have been from Clarence. Like, I wear the Space Jam t-shirt all the time. And
that's my brother too, so shout out to my brother.
Oh yeah, and I gave a few to Jedi, my younger brother.
Oh, dope.
But yeah, I think
that's a dope ass name.
Oh yeah, Jedi. His full name is Jedediah. We like our parents named us like we're all pretty extra. Like my name is from X-Men. My sister, her name is Trinity, is from The Matrix, and then Jedi is just from Star Wars. So it's fun. But oh yeah, I was thinking about do you guys watch The Good Place, or have you watched it?
I've seen a few episodes. I haven't finished it yet.
Okay, so The Good Place is kind of hard to explain, but this girl dies and she goes to heaven, and it's kind of like there's a point system. Like if you do enough good deeds, then you go to heaven, and if you do like bad shit, then you go to hell, you go to the bad place, and then the good place is heaven. But there's this one dude that was super obsessed with doing good deeds to make sure that he gets to heaven, and he was like, there was one deed of him getting like roses for his grandma just to like as a gift, and then the mediator of the points was like that was a bad deed because the roses that you gifted to your grandma were picked by like Malaysian children that were underpaid. So it's like I think that's kind of like the whole there is no such thing as ethical consumption, but you can try, like you can put effort into like being mindful and stuff like that. So yeah.
I feel like to some extent, like, you know, eventually it's out of your hands, right? Like it's not like, what can you do, you know? Like
yeah,
like it's like the government's kind of thing. So
right, it's like all the powers with the corporations and the government, but I think as a person, like I try to, you know, shop secondhand if I can. I wear some of Clarence's t-shirts. I stopped shopping from like Urban Outfitters or like H&M. I'm not like super high end with my stuff. Like I don't shop at like Aritzia, which is a bit more ethical, but I'm not sure. But I mean, y'all were talking about like Nike before the call. Like, what are your thoughts on, I know y'all are like fans of Nike. I mean, I am too. Like, all my shoes are from Nike. So what are your thoughts on that?
You go first.
That's tough.
Sorry, I'm putting you on the spot.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I just can't get myself to not wear this stuff, just because it's like what I've been wearing my whole life, and this is what I feel the most comfortable in, I guess, too. But I do know that Nike has had a history with like sweatshops and all that. I mean, we learned about it pretty early on too, I think, Clarence, like at St. George. But yeah, I just can't get myself to not do it, and it's pretty fucked up. But I think I should look into different options.
Yeah, I don't know. I think like it's interesting because like a lot of your favorite people and like athletes and celebrities and whatnot, like they champion this brand, and so it's like, like you think that those people are also keeping in mind, like that the brand is doing some kind of crazy stuff behind the scenes, but I don't know. I feel like there's just a lot of things out of your control again, right? Like I can't control how they make their stuff, and sure I can buy other brands, but like they're still going to be the multi-billion-dollar company that they are, right. Like is my like not buying their shirt really gonna make a change,
I mean, it's like that whole argument where like, not using plastic straws isn't gonna save the world. It's if the corporations stop, creating all those like fossil fuels, things like that. And yeah, it's like really multifaceted. Like Nike's done a lot of good work with like Colin Kaepernick, for example. Like they had that whole campaign that was in support of Black Lives Matter and Black liberation, but then on the other hand, there's a lot of things behind the scenes that are not ethical. But I don't know, it's definitely difficult. And even Amazon is a great resource for low income people because the prices are really cheap and you can get things in bulk. But then once again, there's things behind the scenes that are unethical. So it's hard. Like I am a user of Amazon. I like the other day I posted this show. I was like, hey, watch this show. I loved it. And it's on Amazon Prime. And this one girl was like, slid up and was like, not everyone uses Amazon Jubilee. And I was like, sorry. I was like, sorry.
Jubilee, come on.
No,
oh my God.
Wait, do y'all use Amazon?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like with my friends and I, we were trying to lower the consumption that we of Amazon, just because I would buy like my textbooks from Amazon. I recently bought a book from Amazon, like some art supplies if I need it in bulk is from Amazon. So I was trying to research, because there isn't like another company that is Amazon where there's like all these different brands and organizations like selling their shit on one platform, right? Like I've seen resources that are like, here's a list of like, if you want books, go to here. If you want art supplies, go to here. But yeah, like Amazon is kind of one of a kind, sort of.
Yeah. Sometimes like I try like whatever product I'm buying, I go to the actual like company
the site
and look. But sometimes I'm just like, damn, Amazon can send it to me in 10 hours, bro. What?
Maybe kind of quick with it. I don't even know how.
Yeah, you just get put in such a tough position. I feel like at the end of the day too, like you can't worry about every single issue in the world, right? Like climate change is a thing, and like these big corporations are a thing, and fucking fires everywhere and BLM. So I think it doesn't hurt to try to focus on some things, and like other things, like you can worry about them, but like don't stress too hard, like you can't stretch yourself thin, I feel like.
Right.
But that's also from a place of privilege, so.
Right, like I think in conclusion, if you have the bandwidth and the ability to think about and like just be more self-aware in your actions, like do it, because obviously like if you are like if you don't have a job, if you're on unemployment, it's hard to think about like, where am I buying my shit? Is it ethical, right? Like that's not the first concern that comes to mind. So like if you have the bandwidth, like if you are in a place that you can think about those things, like definitely act on it. But I feel you. I feel like there's a lot of issues to be concerned about, and it's like what we said with Eden, like you just have to try your best and like put all the effort that you can to like learn, unlearn, shit like that.
Damn.
I mean, you know, so much shit is happening in the world right now. It's like we are based in Seattle, and so the air quality is like really, really bad right now.
Dude, it's like the worst in the world. Just
for real?
Yeah. Like
I think we're like number 3 right now.
I know. I think it was yesterday when it was like Seattle's worst, Portland, and then like San Francisco or something like that, and then like somewhere in Pakistan. Somewhere in India. And I'm like,
yeah, Portland's at number 1 right now. Seattle's at number 3.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, like in conclusion, on top of social distancing, like you just have to stay inside now to protect your lungs. But yeah, once again, we'll have, you know, resources for BLM in the bio. And we're going to wrap up soon. Steven, I think it'd be fun if we did this with one of our other guests, but what's like one life tip that you kind of live by and want to share with the podcast?
One life tip.
Like your best piece of advice.
Let's see. I think my best piece of advice is be open to change. I think like I was kind of looking at a lot of things like very narrow-mindedly, and I had very strong opinions on certain things, and I felt like if I showed that my opinions changed, it showed like weakness, I guess. But but recently I've been, you know, very open to a lot of different possibilities, and because of that, I try not to judge people too heavily, because you know, you never know what they're gonna become one day. So I think that's my life tip. Be open-minded and don't be judgmental.
I wish it was like a little rainbow. It's like,
don't be judgmental.
Yeah.
That's a really good tip, I think, especially as we navigate, you know, the rest of, well, not 2020 because shit's not going to end in 2020, but as we continue to navigate. And yeah, I think being open-minded is like the best first step to a better life or better mindset. Yeah. But yeah, we're gonna wrap it up and share our songs of the week. These are, you know, tunes that we've been listening to on repeat, things that have been getting us through the week. But I can go first. Let me pull it up to make sure I have the right song. This is a new artist that I recently discovered. Her name is Melanie Faye. Have you heard of her? I think I discovered her from my Discover Weekly, which has been like a really good source of new music. And it's called Super Sad Always. It's kind of representative of my life. But I really like it. It's actually pretty, you know, nice R&B tune. Been really listening to that. A close second was Sandstorm by Mariba and JID. I think Ibrahima had that a couple weeks ago. Such a good song. But yeah. Okay.
So my song of the week is, so I don't really listen to Jaden Smith that much, but he put out a new, like, I don't know if he calls it an album, but he put out some new work, and there's a song called Rainbow Bap on it. And I know it sounds kind of corny, you know, but if you give it a listen, it has like kind of some like New Jubilee vibes, you know, like a steady guitar, and then he's kind of like rapping and then singing. So it's pretty dope, and it's a good vibe. So that's my song of the week. I was also listening to it on the plane back, and I was like, I just put it on a repeat. Vibe, you know, just on the plane. Yeah. Anyways, Steven, what's your song of the week?
I was actually having trouble with this one. At first, I was gonna say Until the End of Time, by Justin Timberlake and Beyonce. But I feel like that was my song of the week last time I was on, low key. But it was just feeling like the end of the world, you know, with everything going on. So it felt fitting. But then I was like, nah. So I chose Redemption by J-Rock featuring SZA. You know, it's a good vibe, but it's also like, you know, what would you do if you got a second chance, right? How would you redeem yourself? So yeah, and I just been vibing to that.
It's deep.
Damn. Yeah. I can't wait for SZA to drop her album whenever that day comes.
Steven has
get in your feels.
Steven has had the pleasure to meet SZA in person.
I have.
Are you serious? When and where?
It was at the Neptune. I forgot what year. 2018? I think it was probably 2018. It was cold as fuck outside.
Yeah.
Wait, really quickly, like, what is everyone's favorite SZA song? This says a lot about you.
Yeah.
Here, I have to look that up.
Wait, Clarence, tell me, and then I'll say what it means about you. Like
I'm scared. I feel like you might.
I remember I posted like 2 years ago, like, what's your favorite Frank Ocean song? And then I'll tell you what that means. But I never got to it because it's just too many. But
I really like 20 something. I don't know if it's my favorite. It's hard to say.
I like that song.
I don't know. I feel like it kind of switches depending on my like mood. And sometimes like you hear a song again after you haven't listened to it in a while, and you're like, wait, this is my favorite. But I will say at the moment it's 20 something.
Okay, so since your song is 20 something, that means that you are really in tune with your youthful side of life, and you are it's kind of like that one post I remember you posted, I think from Wenatchee, where it's like, oh, like we're like riding on the side of the road on our bikes. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
It's like really embodying that energy of like summertime, and you're kind of nostalgic and just a grateful person in general of your youth.
I feel like you're just reading off a screen or something. How do you just?
Yeah, why do you know this?
I like know that album like front to back, so I love that one. That's like definitely top 3 for me. I don't know. Yeah. Okay, Steven, what's yours?
I don't know if it's my favorite, but probably Doves in the Wind.
That was that was kind of harder to.
Yeah, got her.
Yeah, because
got him.
That was a really good song, but I don't really know what that means about you.
Yeah, I don't really know either. I just like the way it sounds.
That means that you are really confident in yourself, and you approach life with a boldness that other people like and want, and you basically just yeah, that's all I got.
Wait,
but there's something like really bold about that song, so I like it.
I'm gonna have to rap genius it, see if you're on point.
Bro, I was listening to a podcast. I forgot who it was. It's like some musician, but they're saying like they hate when people look up lyrics, because I mean, like,
why?
When you have a certain feeling about a song, and like you understand it in a way, you know, that's like special to you. Like he doesn't like it when people are like, but that's not what the song means. You know, like I looked at the lyrics, like this is what it actually supposed to mean. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like whatever you feel it means, you know, that's okay to.
True, like definitely the Genius videos are like helpful, because I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. Like I didn't know that it had that meaning to it. But I've had people ask me like, oh, are you more like a lyrical type of person? Like you focus on the lyrics more, or like the sound and the beat? And I think I would be like the second one, like more of the sound and the beat.
Would you say like chord progression over the actual beat? or the beat over the I feel like you're a chord progression person.
Yeah, like if you look at the songs I really like, they all have a similar feeling from the chord progression. I don't know how to describe it.
Yeah.
But yeah, my favorite is Garden Say It Like That. That one's such a good one.
And what does it say about you?
Can you tell me?
Well, I thought you were an expert on that.
Well, I just want to hear from your perspective because I don't like to just talk about myself. The fuck?
I don't know. Steven, do you have any idea?
Nah, I don't know that song well enough to.
Basically, that song is like the saddest song on the album, in my opinion.
And what was your song of the week again?
No comment. But I do feel like I've been listening to less sad music, which is good. Yeah.
But then again, you just
Good
need
job.
sad ass songs. So
Okay, Clarence.
we will
So
see
what?
next week when we have the next song of the week.
Yes, hopefully something a bit more upbeat. But I think we went low-key over an hour, but that's fine. But yeah, everyone, thanks for tuning in. We appreciate the support. By the time this is posted, the giveaway will still be happening. So go ahead.
I'm so excited about like the amount of people that are posting and commenting.
Mhm.
So cool.
Yeah. Shout out to, the people.
Excited
Yeah.
about it.
But yeah, follow us on our platforms if you want to get connected. We'll have Steven's info also in the description. But yeah, see you all next week.
Gee.